Welcome to another episode of Poko's Prime Time Pick. Welcome back to Poko Primetime Picks. We're in week 8. In the old NFL, that'd be halfway through, but now we get an extra game to play with. So we're not quite halfway there. Let me tell you what we're doing here. At Poko Primetime Picks, we have 3 Poko brothers. Myself, Poko, my brother Scott Poko, and Terry Poko. And we have a couple of sons. We have Michael Poko and Rhino Poko. And we get together and we pick Survivor League games, but we don't do it the same way that normal teams do. We have a little twist, and we'll get to that later in the show. And we do this in honor of our father, Butch Poko, who was the original Poko, and he loved fantasy football, and he loved making Survivor picks. So, with that being said, I'd like to welcome our co-host, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Dad. Thanks for having me. And hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our show. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. I'm excited for some football.
I couldn't agree more. We have a special guest in our Riverside studios. We have Blitz Poko. Blitz Poko is our Australian cattle dog blue heeler. And if you hear her chewing on a bone, she's laying on her big Barker bed and she's watching us make the show. So this is one of our first in-studio family members. I'd like to go ahead and take a look at last week's pick. Last week, we went with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, some would say that we received a strike, which we did. However, I would say it's a bigger win for the people of Florida and Carolina to see the country get behind them. Last week, we promoted the fact that the NFL had teamed up with the Red Cross, and Poko Primetime Picks made a contribution of $100 to the Red Cross. Well, overall, the NFL family, owners, players, fans, raised over $8 million for the effort. So good on you, NFL. So our record now sits at 3-4 for the season. But we think this week we're going to get back up to 500. So, Michael, what'd you think of the pick last week?
Yeah, well, again, like you said, I think the most important thing is for the people of Florida and those that were hit by the hurricane to receive, the aid and help get their lives put back together. Obviously, that's way more important than football. From the football aspect, I was surprised at that game. The Ravens really opened up. It looked to me like they are going to be a Super Bowl contending team. I think a lot of people thought the Bucs would be good. I think they are a good team, but that Ravens offense was unstoppable. And unfortunately for the Bucs, they also are down their 2 best receivers now moving forward. Mike Evans has a hamstring issue. He'll be out for a couple weeks. And then Chris Godwin, I think he'll be done for the season. So very unfortunate outcome in relation to our pick. It was an entertaining game. I think Jackson threw for 5 TDs that game. So high scoring game if you like high scores. I played defense, so I like lower scores, but overall, we'll take that loss for our picks.
I couldn't agree more. And you're right. Baltimore is really starting to gel. They're putting it together with their passing, and now with Derrick Henry, that's just the running back they needed. So I would look out for them in the AFC because they are really
looked unstoppable.
I agree. Now on Poko Primetime Picks, we team together and we make Survivor team picks together as a group. However, we also have our own individual teams, and we do it in my work league called the ECAST Outcast Survivor League. And we've been fairly successful in the league over the years. However, this year it's been a rough go of it, not just with our family's picks, but across the board. So Michael, Terry, and Scott Poko have all struck out, and they are no longer in the league. Myself, last week, I went with the Washington Redskins, and even though they did a quarterback change, they did give me the W. So I am still in the league. I have 2 strikes. The league is down to 14 teams. And of the 14 teams that are left, only one team has 1 strike. So when you see these high percentage picks of teams that are out there, it's possible that the whole league could be out next week and there would be one survivor and he would win it all. So hopefully I can continue to survive and we'll see going forward. Now I'd like to take you to Candidate Corner. Candidate Corner explains how we pick our weekly candidates for each week. So we're always going to give you the primetime games, the Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night football games. Those are a no-brainer. But we try and add a little twist to it. So we'll give you the games from London, the games from Germany, Brazil, Mexico City. We'll give you the Christmas game. We'll give you all the Thanksgiving games. We add a little flair and we give you the national broadcast games. So each week you'll get the game broadcast by Tom Brady and Tony Romo. So with that being said, I'd like to have Michael break down this week's games.
Yeah, Thursday night we have the Minnesota Vikings at 3.5% going against the LA Rams being picked at 0.08%. I want to add Minnesota. They've been looking like a great team. The whole NFC North, I believe right now, if the season ended today, the whole entire NFC North would get into the playoffs through wild cards and the division. So Minnesota looks like a great team. They are gonna not have their star tight end Hawkinson activated this week, and the Rams are going to be getting back Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, their 2 stud receivers. So I think this game will be a lot closer than what people are actually picking. We've got the Tom Brady game with the Buffalo Bills being picked at 0.18%, going against the Seattle Seahawks, getting picked at 0.02%. And very surprising this season, but Geno Smith has been a fantastic quarterback. He's leading in a lot of metrics, including most passing yards. And this is going to be at home in Seattle where it gets pretty loud. But Josh Allen got a new weapon, Amari Cooper, to help kind of bolster their offense. I do think that there's going to be weather as a factor in this game as well, so look out for that. The Tony Romo game will be the Chicago Bears getting picked at 0.07%, going against the Washington Commanders getting picked at 0.14%. The Bears are coming off of a bye. However, it looks like Brisker and Gordon, 2 of our starting secondary players, will likely not be playing this week. However, the Commanders may be down their star rookie quarterback, Daniels. He's been dealing with a rib issue. A lot of people want to see the Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels game, and we may not get that. Sunday night game we cannot pick, but it is the Dallas Cowboys at 0.06%, going against the 49ers at 0.25%. And then we have the Monday Night Football game, which is the New York Giants at 0.01%. They're at Pittsburgh Steelers at 6.54%. And a couple things to note, the Giants will likely be down their star tackle, Andrew Thomas, is out, and they may also be down their other starting tackle, which will be not ideal against this formidable Pittsburgh front. And also the change last week with Russell Wilson stepping in as the starting quarterback. He played great against the Jets, so it looks like Pittsburgh's offense has taken another step forward.
That was a great rundown, Mike. One other team also that I did not mark in the show notes was we cannot pick the Bears.
That's right. We can't pick the Bears. We got them on that win with the Jags.
That's right. Thanks to Rhino. So now we come to the part of the show where we make our personal picks. So for this week, I've decided, I normally don't like to take road games, but I've decided that I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. So The Minnesota Vikings, they are definitely one of the top teams in the NFC. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, the Rams are getting some of their receivers back, but I just think Minnesota's been too strong. And like you alluded to, the division is really tough. So I'm going to take the Vikings on the road. Terry was able to send us his pick. Terry, can you give us your pick?
I'm going to go this week with the Buffalo Bills. Seattle's reeling a bit, and there's some key injuries.
Okay, Michael, could I get your pick of the week?
Yeah, my pick of the week, I think, is going to be a safe pick. We're at 3-4 for the season with these picks, and I think this is going to get us to 4-4. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New York Giants. I think we saw last game, the Giants, I believe they gave up 8 sacks when they played the Eagles. So the losses to their offensive line is hurting them. And frankly, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have one of the top defensive line units in the league. So I think they are going to eat them alive. And of course, Russ has looked great. And I think the Steelers are going to be really formidable this year. They always kind of are, but I think this year they're starting to take that next step.
Scott and Rhino, they went ahead and gave us their picks. Rhino, what's you and your dad's pick?
I'm sticking with the trend that the NFC North is the best division in football. That's why I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
Oh, those are some great picks. We've come to the part of the show where we start wrapping things up, and I would like to explain our Triple P segment. This is the Principal Primetime Picker. So on Poko Primetime Picks, we are a democracy. However, after we've laid out the case for each of our selections, we need one of our members to make the pick.
As the principal picker, I think I need to go with the safe pick so we can get back to 500 as we're at 3-4 right now. And that's going to be going with the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Giants. I think the scary defensive line that the Steelers have, and of course you got TJ Watt. I think it's going to be too much for the Giants. They gave up way too many sacks last week, and I think it's going to be the same story again.
Great pick. Well, this is the part of the show where we close things out. I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank you, Michael, for joining and being co-host. Yeah. Do you have anything to plug? Blitz, I know you're enjoying that bone. Do you have anything that you want to plug? She said something about get more dog treats, so we'll have to see about that. So I want to say goodbye, everybody. I want to say make sure you hit click, hit subscribe, and so long.
Poco's Primetime Picks.